Ever feel like your body's running on dial-up in a 5G world? Like, it's amazing, sure, but also kind of glitchy and slow.
Oh, tell me about it.
Well, today, we're diving into that very idea.
Well, are we really?
Yeah. The concept of mismatched diseases with Harvard evolutionary biologist Daniel Lieberman.
He gave this fascinating interview on the Diary of a CEO YouTube channel.
It's a good one.
Yeah, and it's a core argument is simple yet profound. Our genes are lagging behind our rapidly changing lifestyles.
It really is wild to think about. So we're all just walking, talking design flaws. That's reassuring.
I wouldn't say design flaws necessarily, but
Okay.
there's definitely a mismatch.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But seriously, why should we care what our ancient ancestors were up to? Like, how does that impact us now?
Because those hunter-gatherer ancestors, they were the original blueprint.
The OG blueprint.
Exactly. And their bodies were honed over millions of years for a world vastly different from our own. Understanding that difference, that mismatch, is key to understanding why we get sick.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's not about romanticizing the Stone Age. Right, we're not ditching our smartphones and foraging for berries anytime soon.
No, not at all.
Okay, good. I like my smartphone.
It's about recognizing that our bodies are essentially museums of our evolutionary past.
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
Our bodies are museums.
Yeah, like take our noses, for example.
You know, for the record, I've always been rather fond of my nose.
As you should be.
Thank you. What's the evolutionary tale there?
Well, Lieberman points out those external noses, the ones that make us look, well, human, were a stroke of evolutionary genius.
Okay.
Developed around 2 million years ago, they were perfect for humidifying the air we breathed in drier climates.
Really?
Yeah.
So, that stuffy nose you get when the air gets dry, maybe it's not just a random annoyance, but a sign of a system optimized for a different world.
Exactly. Our bodies are full of these little quirks, these echoes of a time when survival depended on things like efficient fat storage and a finely tuned stress response.
Speaking of fat, that's where things get really interesting because haven't we been conditioned to think of fat as like the enemy?
Oh, absolutely we have.
Right.
But Lieberman paints a more nuanced picture.
Yeah.
For most of human history, fat was essential, particularly for brain development. Did you know human babies are born with a surprisingly high percentage of body fat, around 15%? That's much higher than other primates.
Wow, 15%. It's like evolution knew those little brains were going to be serious energy hogs.
Exactly. And that fat serves another crucial purpose. It acts as an energy reserve for mothers, essential for the energy demands of pregnancy and breastfeeding.
Okay, so that explains why dieting can feel like an uphill battle.
Oh, for sure.
Our bodies are basically designed to hold on to fat, especially when we're stressed. It's like our biology is stuck in famine mode
Yes.
while we're surrounded by a 247 all-you-can-eat buffet.
It's fascinating, isn't it? This mismatch between our evolutionary past and our modern environment is at the heart of so many health challenges we face today.
So we're living with these Stone Age bodies in a space age world, but where does that leave us?
Right.
Are we doomed to a future of just battling our own biology?
It's not quite so dire,
Okay, good.
but Lieberman does raise a rather unsettling idea.
Okay.
What if our modern lifestyles aren't just making us sick, but actually driving human evolution in a negative direction?
Driving evolution in reverse. Okay, now that does sound a little scary. What does that even mean?
He calls it disevolution.
Okay.
Essentially, by constantly treating the symptoms of these mismatched diseases, think glasses for nearsightedness, medication for heart disease,
Right.
we're masking the problem, allowing those genetic predispositions to persist and potentially worsen over generations.
So instead of adapting out of these problems, we're just passing them down along with our Netflix passwords and questionable taste in music.
In a way, yeah. He uses the example of myopia or nearsightedness. Spending less time outdoors, which is practically a hallmark of modern life,
Right.
disrupts our eye development. Glasses fix the problem for the individual, but the underlying cause, lack of exposure to natural light, remains and could even be amplified in future generations.
So what can we do about it? Are there any actionable takeaways here, or are we all just slaves to our ancient DNA?
You are absolutely not helpless. Understanding our evolutionary past isn't about longing for some idealized past. It's about empowering ourselves in the present.
Okay.
And Lieberman is a big proponent of making small but impactful changes.
Okay, I'm listening because at this point, I'll try anything to avoid becoming a cautionary tale in Lieberman's next paper.
Well, he emphasizes that we're not designed to be glued to a desk all day.
Sadly.
Right. Even small amounts of movement can offset the negative effects of a sedentary lifestyle. Think like a hunter-gatherer. Frequent bursts of activity throughout the day.
So ditch the marathon gym sessions and embrace the power of a well-timed dance break. I can get behind that.
Precisely. And it's not just about exercise.
Yeah.
We can challenge our assumptions about what's normal.
Okay.
Do we really need hand sanitizer every time we touch a shopping cart?
Yeah.
Are those ultra-processed foods actually serving us?
Good point. Good point.
Start questioning those everyday conveniences and habits through an evolutionary lens.
It's like hitting the reset button on our relationship with our bodies and our environment, looking at the world with fresh eyes, or rather, with our ancestors' eyes.
Exactly. And don't forget, it's not all on us as individuals. We need broader societal changes to tackle these mismatched diseases.
Yeah.
Reducing inequalities, promoting access to healthy lifestyles, and prioritizing preventative care.
So it's a team effort.
It is.
We need individual action and systemic change, but what about this whole fat thing?
Yeah.
Because that seems to be a huge part of the mismatch puzzle.
Okay, so let's talk fat, because it feels like this huge evolutionary elephant in the room.
We're told to fear it, fight it,
Yeah.
but what if our ancestors were onto something?
Well, it's incredible when you really think about it. We've spent decades, demonizing fat. But Lieberman lays out a compelling case for its evolutionary importance. It wasn't simply an energy reserve for our ancestors.
Okay.
It was crucial for brain function, hormone production,
Right.
and even reproductive success.
Right, like that whole saying, fat babies, healthy babies. It's like evolution was telling us something.
It's true. And not just babies, of course. Lieberman highlights how women, in particular, rely on fat stores for energy during pregnancy and breastfeeding.
Oh, yeah.
Your body is literally designed to prioritize the survival of your offspring, even if it means holding on to a few extra pounds.
Wow. Which makes all those fad diets suddenly seem not only ineffective, but kind of insulting to our biology. Like we're fighting a losing battle against millions of years of evolution.
And the more we try to fight it, the harder our bodies might push back. Yeah, Lieberman explains that when we restrict calories too drastically, our bodies can go into survival mode. Cortisol levels spike, we crave those sugary, high-calorie foods, and our metabolism slows down to conserve energy.
So it's this vicious cycle. The more we try to outsmart our bodies, the more our biology fights to keep us alive, even if it means clinging to those extra pounds.
Exactly. And this isn't just about weight loss. It's about understanding that deep connection between our bodies and our evolutionary past.
Totally.
We're not designed to count every calorie or obsess over the number on the scale. We're designed to move, nourish ourselves with whole foods, manage stress, and yes, even embrace a little bit of body fat.
So it sounds like the key takeaway here is not to try to erase our evolutionary history, but to learn from it.
Right.
To find a way to bridge that gap between our ancient biology and our modern lives.
Precisely. And that's a really empowering message.
It is.
It's not about giving up or resigning ourselves to a future of illness. It's about working with our bodies, not against them.
It's like Lieberman is giving us a new set of instructions, a user manual for these amazing, ancient, sometimes confounding bodies of ours.
And it's a manual worth reading, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's a story that's still being written, and we all have a role to play. So to our listeners, we ask you this. What if the key to a healthier future isn't just about the latest diet craze or fitness gadget, but about understanding and respecting the incredible evolutionary journey that brought us here?
It's a question worth pondering. After all, we're not just products of our genes, we're also architects of our own evolution.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep listening to your body. It might just be trying to tell you something extraordinary.